unfortunately, in this country where the wind blows, people don't live. So there is no need for additional capacity in the Dakotas. It's needed in the urban areas on the right and left coasts. So it's transmission constrained. It's transmission constrained both technically as well as politically. As an example, the 6 New England governors, I'm from Massachusetts, so I can get away with this. For 6 New England governors actually signed the same letter to the president and Congress saying, do not let the FERC transmission highway come from the Midwest to bring renewables into New England. For them to get together and say that collectively is quite remarkable, very, very remarkable. They want the jobs in the industry where the energy is going to be consumed, and so I think that to that extent, the utility scale, land-based utility scale projects are very slow. I mean, niches, but
well, you don't have to point.
400 megawatts projects in Texas aren't getting done anymore because it's too hard to transmit it to where it can be consumed. So I think that I do think that from the sector perspective, I think there's be a lot of offshore momentum building in the Northeast. It is the only region of the country where offshore makes any sense. It doesn't. The water is too deep in off the West Coast, and in the Southeast coast, it's between storms and simply the wind resource. It's not as good as it is in the Northeast. So I think there's a significant opportunity for it in the Northeast.
Actually, I have a question for Jonathan, if you don't mind me stepping in. I mean, what lessons have we learned from Europe? I mean, there's roughly, 3 gigawatts of offshore wind built in Europe. As far as building an industry, are there any lessons to be learned from overseas? What's happened, or not?
No, certainly. I mean, certainly from a technical perspective, yes, clearly. I mean, that is the only benchmark we have to go by and extrapolate for costs and design and technical issues, development issues, engineering issues. But I think the biggest lesson is it's like California. The reason it's worked is because the government said, the people said, this is what we want, and we'll pay for it. And we don't have that not in the United States collectively. There's no national RPS. There's no national carbon cap and trade tax, whatever. Even in New York State, there's not a mandatory RPS. It's a goal that isn't met. So.